I pronounced your name correctly, right? Taga.
It's actually Taga.
Wait, say again? Taga.
Yeah, and it's okay. I get all sorts of variations. But yeah, so it's like there's an N in there. So Tanga.
It's a silent N. Silent N.
Yeah.
Taga.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like a soft G.
Wait. So did I get the surname right though?
The surname is Iose.
So we got it completely wrong.
No.
I know.
But you just said a J right now. Did you say?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But in our culture, our vowels are E or U. So Iose. It's not Taj. It's not
you know, I was going the whole week going Tagalus.
And I was like, what is a Tagalus?
Yeah.
We're talking to Tagalus. What is a Tagalus?
Can you tell me? Yeah.
I went like, baby, we got an interview with Tagalus. She's like, who's Tagalus?
Yeah, who is Tagalus? That's the other personality. Pacific Islanders and Māori, Polynesian, our vowels mean it's quite different. So, and it's interesting because the representation of Pacific Islanders in this space, probably about 3 or 4 in the whole of SFM. So yeah, this is what's great about being such a global community is you just learn so much about culture in the same way as well.
Taga Iose.
Oh, perfect.
No, yeah. I think it is, and it's been such like a. I mean, I think for me, it's been like a very emotional and like spiritual journey more than anything, you know? Like, I never thought I'd be thinking less about the money and more about my own growth than I doing right now, because I came into the SFM for money. It was just like 100%. That's I want to make money. That's it.
Yeah,
it's a basic need. Because the money provides the lifestyle you think you're looking for. Yeah. I'll use the example of when I first started in 2018. And we went to, in November, Momentum Day was here on the Gold Coast. When I went to that Momentum Day on the Gold Coast, little did I realise, up here I thought I was ready for it, but little did I realise my old feelings of not being worthy came through really strongly in that space. And then I felt intimidated by the leaders when I saw them. I was like the shrinking little thing in the corner going, oh, I'm not meant to be here, I don't belong here. And so it wasn't actually the best experience for me. Fast forward 2 weeks ago, oh my goodness, totally different person, because I knew I had to learn about what was it that's in me and where did that come from, and how do I unravel that stuff that I've been protecting myself from because it was impacting on how I showed up to, because I regretted that. I missed out on connections with leaders that I had right at my fingertips, just walk up and talk to them. I was too scared to. But this time I was so much more grounded, and this is I guess what I've gotten out of this journey with SFM is that safe space that we can all pull out the crap that we've begun to believe about ourselves and how we're showing up. I use the word like a chameleon. I think when you go through life and you think, if I'm going to survive, I need to look like that, or I need to look like that, depending on what the circumstances. And you forget who you really are. And I think that's the real gift of SFM, is that it gives you that safe space to unpeel. I mean, I'm just using, Justin's language. You just get to unpeel those layers safely. I'm starting to tear up because I can just feel that. You see those transformations in people that weren't able to approach these leaders. And the number of us that all said that, over the 2 weeks. I was so scared when they walked in. Like, you know, you think you're prepared, but this primal stuff that you were going through and trying to push down comes through then, in that moment. We all have similar needs, and, you know, what draws us, what we define as happiness, and it's our family. They're right in front of us.
Yeah.
You know, they're right there. And that's what I love about our leaders is, you know, they've really reminded us we're doing what we're doing for our children. We're their examples. And just to be able to support my kids and how they raise their children, a lot of the way that I do it is, well, you remember the pain you felt when mum did that? Maybe revisit that and try and do it a different way. And I'm giving them permission that I'm not an example. I'm an example in certain things, but I'll also raise that I'm not perfect. I'm just a human mum that's learnt off my parents, and we do the best that we can, but our generations can get better. And this is what I often say to people, because I work in a non-for-profit organisation, and I deliver workshops to community members who have probably come out of domestic violence or anything like that, so their worth is rock bottom. And I often say to them, you know, it's in you, but if you take the focus off you and what you need to do for the people around you, because your worth is your children. You just spent all this time talking to me about how they're everything to you. I mean, you escaped a violent situation to save yourself and the children. So when you start focusing on, hey, I can turn up, it doesn't matter what I say, it's what I do that these kids are going to pay attention to. So sometimes when you take that focus off yourself and you realise there are other people who I am responsible for, I am shaping their future. Sometimes that's sort of made me wake up, because all of a sudden I thought, only I can deliver the message that I have to deliver from what I've gone through, from the lack that you've experienced and not having any food. Only you can deliver that to someone who needs to hear it. You know, and I visualize that if I'm not out there, if I'm not putting myself out there and showing that I am vulnerable, I'm shaking, right? You know, if I'm on the stage, I know I shake, you know, and I can hear it in my voice. I'm a little bit more okay with that now, and I'm taking, you know, courses in order to work through all that. So sometimes when you take that off you, even though you've got to go deep initially and then refocus and like just, you know, put it out there to the people who need you, it just gives you a different level of purpose, doesn't it? In my mind, I think like I'm talking crap. And I do every time, even workshops that I come out of there and I beat myself up. I've had to really train myself to look at it. Okay, how could you have addressed that differently? You know, and sometimes when I'm seeing replays and things, I'm going, okay, that actually was okay. So it makes total sense. You know, when you've got people that are openly, leaders who are sharing their stories of that, it gives you permission to do that yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to work in the banking industry. So I went from health insurance to banking industry, and I used to work in lending. So I did mortgages and home loans, ran sort of, the bank was a major bank here in Australia. Did many hours. And the kids, so I've got a son and a daughter, so Anna's my youngest, and they were teenagers at the time. So we did the whole thing. When we first arrived from New Zealand, that's it. We're going to get a house, our own home. We're going to go out there. We're going to work hard. So I was literally gone. I left home normally by about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't get home till 6 p.m. of night, which is, you know, what many of us resonate with. So I'd try to climb that corporate ladder, but the more that I went, the more that was asked of me. For some reason, I always had this idea that the higher you went, the more you could delegate. But the issue that I had with that was I was such a control freak. So anyway, so went through all of that, moved up to Queensland, and decided that I was doing way too many hours for work. So then I tried my hand at mortgage brokering and started this business for a little while. And shortly after starting, and I was just hitting 5 figures a month, I was diagnosed with breast cancer at 39. And the kids were, they were sort of teenagers, early teenagers then. So went through the chemo, went through everything. And as I was coming out of the chemo, and I remember looking in the mirror when my eyelashes dropped, because my eyelashes were the last to go. So lost all the hair, lost the eyebrows, but I was able to cover that up. I was able to start this whole fashion thing with a scarf and then, cover up the eyebrows going. But when the eyelashes went, there's nothing you can put on that. I remember looking in the mirror at the time and thinking, oh my gosh, this is me. This is who I am. Warts and all. Who am I? And I was going through this whole phase of, I hate my life. Why am I here? Why is it possible that I could be leaving 2 young teenagers without a mum soon if I don't get my act together? So I went on this journey of rebuilding my life, rebuilding my whole thoughts. And that was when I was first introduced to Hay House and Louise Hay's book. And I went into myself and sort of worked out what was so toxic. Well, it was my heavy drinking, which I'd pretty much behaviours that I sort of circled from my dad. Lots of heavy alcohol intake, neglecting my kids, my family, for this whole idea that I had to work hard to earn an income to create a lifestyle so that we would be happy. But I was doing the total opposite. And to me, when I look back now, that cancer was like God saying, you're not listening. Boom, we're going to stop you in your tracks, and you're going to realize that life is precious. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you look like to everyone else. It's your family and your kids that really matter. So that I went through this whole thing of, okay, but the only thing I know is banking. What do I do? So I started to Google, and I found counselling, that you can actually work with people who've gone through financial hardship. And so I ended up in that industry thinking, okay, this is going to really fill the void that I have for compassion. I'm a compassionate person. I wanted to really, tap into that energy and help others. But then a realization hit me after the kids had both left. They started their own families. My husband and I realized we're just getting back into debt again. We are just cycling back to the same behaviors, long hours at work, and we had no family commitments anymore, yet we had less time with each other. What was that about? So I said to my husband, why don't we start exploring how we earn money? And so we tried commercial cleaning. And so we did commercial cleaning for a couple of years, and we realized we're getting older. This is physically draining. We were still working full time at the same time. And if that was going to create freedom, that wasn't happening either. And I happened to come across, I went through this whole meditation phase, learning how to meditate in the morning, and Dan's video came up. And I explained that because it wasn't just one-off, saw that video, yay, this is great. It was like an answer. It answered everything for me. I say to people, Dan is furthest from a person that I would normally resonate with. He's a young man. He's on the other side of the world. He looks different from me. Yet the words that he used to describe my pain nailed it. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not fulfilled. Why am I not fulfilled? I need to earn an income. And I put together this course online. I was, so we were cleaning. I would design this money literacy course online. Everyone was saying, Taga, that's what people need. They need to learn those skills about how to organize their money and their relationship with money. And I put it out there, and I remember going to bed and I said to my husband, we're going to be rich. You watch. This thing is going live and everyone's going to take this course, and we'll wake up and there'll be thousands of people better off because they took this course. I think I had one sale in 2 months. And then I realized then from Dan's thing, wow, you mean I could even take that course and learn how to put that in front of the right people? Because I just thought, World Wide Web, it will go out there, everyone will pick it up.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. So I just knew that that was a skill that I needed to develop. And I got more, you know. So once Dan's video was on, I was straight in. I was really quickly an action taker, very quickly went into gold level as well, because I just knew that's what I needed. You know, I had what I would describe as a really good course, filling a big need across global, you know, audience, and I couldn't sell it. Why? So that's what led me into SFM. It was an answer for me. So when people say, you know, how did you get into SFM? I go the backstory, because it's not a 2-year journey. It's been pretty much 20 years of my life. I just think people have come to this point where we're getting bombarded with such negativity that to see something positive come up around relationships that are lasted, oh my gosh. If you're in a relationship, it is your responsibility to come into that relationship and offer, you know, do the work on yourself and offer the best version of yourself, but also take responsibility for the thoughts, the actions, the things that you bring to that relationship, because that relationship then is the uplifting of two of you.
Yeah.
You know, that's that ability to really love each other, warts and all, and you grow together. And that's what I meant by I love you more than I did when we first met, because you stood by me and I've stood by you too. Like, he's had his stuff, and we're humans. You're gonna go through stuff. You're gonna go through this internal stuff. But when you come together, you are agreeing, I'm gonna be with you every step of the way. I'm going to honor you. I'm going to love you through it all, because that's a basic human need. You know, that's what we do. My husband's very focused though on even when we met. I was 18, he was 22, and we had my son when I was 20. So we've grown together. And we always had this thing, we do not go to bed angry. So if we've had an argument, we also wanted to show the kids, okay, you can argue, that's natural, but we needed to teach them the process of reconciliation. That you can talk this through. You can work this through. But someone said to me, how did you guys do it? I said, I can tell you, the minute we both dropped our egos, just dropped that out, and the need to be right, that was me. Right all the time. The minute we dropped that, you know, all of a sudden I could take, my husband offered things in our relationship that I would always shut down because I always thought I was right. But once I let go of that, he's just, what he brings to it is huge. Point is, we all bring our own perspectives, our own energy to that table, and from that, what you build is amazing. Amazing. That starts in the children. I think, you know, it takes work, and it takes both people to be committed to that work.
What makes you happy?
Family for sure, because they're a reflection of who I am. In a way, you know, if you think about it, like their happiness and my granddaughter's happiness, you know, my husband and I, that's our life, you know. And I guess they've given us that opportunity to be the parents that we never were, our granddaughters. You know, it's like our second chance.
Yeah.
It's really weird that, and so that time to be there and waving when my she's granddaughter, when they're running around doing things and they're looking up into the stand looking for who's there, and just that moment of being able to say hi, and, you know, it's incredible. It's a gift. It's a memory that you give them that will shape them in the human. That's what makes me happy. It's about people pleasing, and where that comes from.
Oh God, I would need to read that one.
Yeah, and this is the interesting thing I found, which I didn't actually interpret as people-pleasing behaviour, but this need to be successful. That everything that you decided you were going to do, you were going to throw yourself in there because you wanted to show how successful you are so that you could be accepted in this society or in your mindset. Like you're planting these seeds, and the harvest, it just grows exponentially. I would never have understood that, you know, 2 years ago. Just that power of uplifting others, and when you're coming from a good place. And Stuart talked about this again, and we know this stuff. This stuff is not new. It's crazy. Like when you talk about intention, but the way that he explained it's like light bulb moment. Wow. I knew that, but I didn't quite go that deep with it. And it is that intention. It's that intention that here we are coming together to connect so that we can uplift and impact on the people around us. Because I get to go and talk to my husband about it. He goes, you know, he talks to someone else about it. And it's just like that ongoing ripple effect that we start from a conversation.
It's beautiful.
I could just see in the corner of my eye, both your heads go, oh. Yeah,
I got it right. Yeah.
All right, see
Have
you
a
guys. Thank you
beautiful
so much.
Weekend.
Greetings to the hubby, please.
Yeah.
I will definitely. Have a sleep. Go to sleep.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was lovely. We need to start bringing tissues to these meetings.